Hi, this is Samantha Battleson, and I am doing a tutorial on the implications of Hyperdocs in your classroom and how to use them. So Hyperdocs, this is not an app. It is not like you type into Google, I need a Hyperdoc. That's not how it works. Hyperdocs are essentially any kind of digital document that has links on it. Seems pretty straightforward, but many people still don't know what they are. They are great as a replacement for a PowerPoint. You can use them in instruction, and you can use them for a product of learning from your students. PowerPoints are outdated. They're old. Students do not engage with them very much. If you were to post a Hyperdoc with links that they had to go to with videos and things like that onto your classroom website and had the students do their discovery learning that way versus a sit and get model, they are more likely to be engaged. As I just said, you would post it in your classroom online. Also, web quests. If you would like them to visit a bunch of different websites and glean the information on their own, Hyperdocs are a great way to do that, and that you can embed your links into the document. An idea that I came across while I was looking into Hyperdocs is that they are being used for differentiation. You can send different versions to different students. Say you have 5 different reading levels in your classroom. You can create 5 different Hyperdocs and send it to each student individually for their appropriate level. And nobody will know. Nobody will know that Johnny is getting any assignment with a lower reading level than Jessica over here, who's reading at an advanced level. Hyperdocs can also be used for inquiry. There are school districts that are putting together units based on Hyperdocs, and they have one Hyperdoc that the kids get for the unit, and everything is linked on that Hyperdoc. That would also really help with parent communication. If you sent that to the parents would be able to know what's going on in class. Just a lot more visibility and openness can be incorporated in Hyperdocs versus the lecture sit and get model. Another idea that I saw that I really liked was the planner. So we have students on our campus who participate in our AVID college prep program, and they are all required to carry a planner. How neat would it be if they all had a Hyperdoc that they shared with the teacher so she could see their planner, because that's part of their grade in that course, and they put links in. So like, let's say they had a dentist appointment. Put a link into the dentist's office so that they can get the information. Let's say if they had to cancel or something like that. If they have biology homework due, include the link to the assignment, things like that. It'd be very neat. We would have to move to a one-to-one district before we'd be able to use it here. But I know there are districts that are already at the one-to-one level. Also, Hyperdocs would be nice as a product of learning. So the students, to show you what they've done, they could present their information. They could create a timeline. They could collaborate together on a Hyperdoc. And I'm going to show you a few different options for that in a minute. And then they could also curate all of their resources on a Hyperdoc. I cannot count the number of times my students have done an online research project, and then they can't find their sources again. They think they're never going to use them again. They don't save them. It'd be very convenient for them to have one document that they have linked all of their sources to. Okay, so moving on, looking at specific curriculum implications. So in English, they could do a book trailer presentation through these with links to different trailers that they've created. The presentation could also incorporate their process in making it, all of that. An introduction to poetry web quest, that's a more traditional route to take. Math, same thing, geometric shapes, web quest. They could also do differentiated problems with the Hyperdocs, what I was talking about, the differentiation and sending it so that they're only working on their specific needs. And social studies, a timeline of westward expansion. They could have links to primary documents along their timeline, or pictures that you click on and it takes you to something that they personally have made that shows their understanding of that event. You could also do a map of cultures. So you could have all of Europe, links all over it. They click on the link. it goes to either something they've created or a resource that they've found, depending on what the teacher's wanting to get out of it. Science, it could be a PowerPoint replacement for Introduction to Gravitational Forces. Also, they can use it for collaboration between their lab group members. They can post videos, references, all kinds of things on one Hyperdoc that has been shared between all of them. Okay, so this is an example of a Hyperdoc I made on Canva. So Canva makes beautiful Hyperdocs, and it is loading. I guess it's going into my private account, but that's okay. So on this Hyperdoc, I created it as a PDF and sent the PDF out to my team. So we are doing literature circles this semester, and this was how we presented the literature circle novels to the students. So it's got the title, the book image, the summary, all of that. But if you click on the book image, let's see, it didn't send me a live one. So of course my Hyperdoc is not working right now. Come on. All of these are links, by the way. When I clicked on them, so when it was actually working, you would click on this link and it would take you to the YouTube video or the YouTube trailer for this book. Let's see if it will let me. Well, I'm not going to mess with it right now. Y'all get the idea. Each of these book covers was a link to the YouTube page, and I'm not sure why. There it is. So you click on it and it takes you to this link. So let's pretend I've got the finished version. I don't know why it took me into the edit. I would click on there and it would take me to the video of The Hate U Give. So that was very useful, very attractive, a nice way to share that with the kids. I wonder, I don't know why it's not letting me look at the finished product right now. Okay, so back to Hyperdocs and how to use them. So there's Canva. You can create them in Canva. So I just showed you one of my example ones. And to create in Canva, let's say you wanted to do the map. They have different templates on Canva. Some of them are free, some of them are not. Let's just go with this for now. So to create the Hyperdoc on this, you click on one of the elements and you just add a link to it. When you publish it, that item becomes a live link that you can click on. Okay, so there's Canva. And when you're done with Canva, there's publish options. Sometimes it makes you pay, so be careful with that. The Google Docs, I think, would work really well for, let's go with this one, sharing between group members. And let's say on this one, I know exactly what books they're going to be doing. Of course, everything I click on today is not working. Say I want to link to my Canva presentation for this because it's based on these books. So these books are what this one pager is about. So I want to add a link on there. I can just paste that. And now this is a Hyperdoc because it has the link in it. And in Google Docs, they do it a little different because when you click on it, you have to then go down and click again. But it takes you right to my literature circles. If I was signed out, I think this would be working better. But Hyperdocs, you can take it any direction you want to. They're very versatile. Let's see if there's anything else I had on here. I like Canva for professional presentations and Google Docs if you're trying to do something collaborative or something